You gotta love members of the lamestream, mainstream, state-run, corporate-owned media and some of the bullshit that comes out of their mouths. CNBC this week had an article up on their website basically talking shit about the WWE and the WWE Network and the big unveiling of that. And of course, some of their prominent members of the CNBC family had to chime in. Producer Lawrence Lewitton said the following: "Good news for professional wrestling fans. No, it's not actually real. However, now you can enjoy wrestling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from the comfort of your parents' basement. How original and how clever. You do realize that most everything on our televisions is scripted in some way, including and especially mainstream media, right? How does the WWE really differ?" Oh, that's right, it doesn't. Now, I don't know about you, but I believe CNBC is a part of NBC Universal, just as USA Network and Sci-Fi are, which are two networks under that same umbrella, all owned by Comcast, that would air WWE programming like Raw and SmackDown. I realize I don't have the pro big business, the pro corporation, the pro big oil, pro Wall Street, pro big banks approach to life that you guys do, you fucking crooks and shysters and charlatans at CNBC. But that would seem to me to be bad business. Something that, oh, by the way, you only wish and dream your lousy ass business network could ever draw those type of numbers and ratings consistently that the WWE has for years and years and years. It would seem to be a bad business model to knock somebody else under the NBC Universal umbrella. Just my opinion, but what do I know? I'm just a wrestling fan, clearly a moron. And portfolio manager John Stevenson also said, and I quote, "I think they're already on the top rope after that 111% increase last year. There's nowhere to go but down. The core business is just deteriorating. You don't have enough young men looking at wrestling with the scripted programming. You're looking at a model that's in decline and valuation is stupidly high." Yes, the audience for professional wrestling and WWE is probably half of what it was 10 years ago. But to say that it is a model necessarily continually in decline is not entirely true, especially when you look at it from a global international perspective, you stupid fuck. Furthermore, who are you to sit there and tell the WWE and its fans that it's a business model that is just deteriorating and that their stock has nowhere to go but down? This is the type of astute stock analysis that people could tune into CNBC and get all the time. Remember those fucks like Jim Cramer? Oh, that's right. I think he even still is on the network for whatever damn reason. Why anybody would ever take any stock advice from this asshat, I'll never know. Isn't it the same guy that said that Bear Stearns was going to be fine and then they went belly up? Said Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were fine and then they went to hell. Then he said Lehman Brothers were fine and they went to hell. All these other banks, they were fine and then they went to hell. Same guy, right? Part of that network where so many of you were talking about, oh, they got to let the market regulate itself and you got to sit there and get rid of all the regulations and all this other bullshit. You guys are the same fucks that'll sit there and think it's okay to speculate in the future commodities market to artificially inflate the price of oil. You are the same fucks that sit there and time after time after time try to justify the positions of big corporations, big oil, and big banks and Wall Street and think that that's okay because you live in your own little stupid business world bubble, and it's not a good bubble at that because you clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I would think from a stockholder standpoint and from a market standpoint that a company like WWE that has the potential for a whole new monster revenue stream such as the WWE Network, not to mention later this year going to be getting a huge increase in their yearly television revenues, I would think there would be something that would be, looked upon very well by stockholders and the stock market as a whole. And again, I realize I'm not a portfolio manager like John Stevenson, and I'm not a CNBC producer like Lawrence Lewitton. But sometimes you take away all that bullshit and you look at common sense. This company has the potential to make a lot more money in a big hurry in legitimate means. I realize that CNBC is used to defending evil oil companies and defending shyster-ass big banks and their monetary policy that they've contributed to with the fractional reserve system that creates a continuous cycle that makes us slaves to our own debt. Yeah, this is a wrestling fan talking about this shit. John Stevenson, Lawrence Lewitton, you don't want to go there because I will bury your clown-ass, bitch-ass, mainstream, lamestream, state-run, corporate-owned media asses on this. If anything, the WWE stock price is going to go up as a direct result of the increased revenues of this company. If you wanted to talk about a concern of the WWE, maybe you would talk about the fact that for a period of time they've been paying out more in dividends than they have been in profits. The dividend was too high based off of da-da-da. But again, that would be real stock analysis, which is something you would never and should never expect to get from CNBC. So continue to defend the companies like the Bank of Americas and the Wells Fargos of the world. Continue to turn a blind eye to the people that have put this country in the damn shape that it's been, in part because people like you continue to defend and justify their bullshit actions. It's all about protecting that top and making sure everybody else has to swallow that piss and shit and like it. Well, I don't like it. And I don't like when people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about sit there and pretend like they do. Maybe if CNBC actually was a little less pro big business and pro Wall Street and pro big oil and pro evil big banks, and they maybe were a little more realistic and they talked about things in not such a pro big business way, maybe they would get a bigger audience that, I don't know, would maybe rival the WWE, who, by the way, is a part of the NBC Universal Comcast family. You don't knock somebody else within your same umbrella, you stupid fucks. And that's why CNBC is truly irrelevant and a fucking joke. And I truly hope nobody watches that and actually expects to get really good business news or really good business analysis. The only thing worse than the Fox Business Channel is CNBC because of their long history and pedigree of suck and dumbass stuff.